Welcome everyone to the second game of the Lion's Share. Today I'm just going to start with a short description and then we'll jump back in. Our session today opens on a vault room. It hasn't been opened in years, but today, finally, the lock clangs, the hinges cringe, and the light seeps in. All these years, all 10 of them, the vault has been paid to keep what was inside. But when at last it opens again, all it contains is dust. The ground has 10 years of dust on all 5 square meters, except in the center. There, a circle as big as a quarter is the only spot in the room without a speck of dust. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We were inside of the Greek necropolis one day earlier, where Zoya and Ken are finishing up their meeting with the hare. So, Andrew, you mentioned you wanted to learn a power from the hare?
Yeah. The Hero's Cry, I believe it was called.
Okay.
Cry of Heroes.
The Cry of Heroes. Okay. So the hare explains to you how the dark energy he gave you works, how you can heal yourself with it, but also how you can shape it through sentences that are referring to past events. And so he takes you to the side and he tells you that he has this magic, those magic words he can teach you to use, and this one in particular that he thinks will be very useful. So it takes a while, but finally you get the hang of it, and and after you spend 6 experience points, you now know this verse. You can write it on your character sheet. I added new parts to your character sheet. And in the meantime, Zoya, you're inside of the necropolis, and those two are to the side just doing some weird occult training. And you're going to get a call. You get a call, and it's not a number that you know.
She sighs and answers and says, "Hello."
Hello. This is the number of Zoya Sorokina. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You recognize the voice of Ken Miles' mother, Clara Abercombe, and she explains to you that she got your number because you work on the same case, technically, and she wanted to talk to you, and she asks if you're alone.
Okay, well, how far from earshot is she?
She's in America right now?
No, like how far out of earshot is Zoya? Like if she was gonna be like, yeah, like I am sort of alone, but they can't hear me.
You're far enough in the necropolis that they will only hear vague echoes of you, and they won't be like, you're not able to piece together what Ken and the hare are saying.
Okay. So Zoya says, well, not quite, but they're far enough away. Is everything okay?
Oh yes. I just wanted to talk to you about Ken, because he doesn't really talk to the rest of the family. So I wanted to make sure everything was going all right with him, because he tends to go fast and loose with the rules sometimes, but deep down he's a good person, and I know that he just needs the right guiding hand to help him through moments like these, and I can't do that anymore because he's all grown up and he's not even in the police force like his brothers, but I just wanted to make sure that you were that everything was going well between you and him, and that you and that since you're his team leader, that you would be able to help him if he ever goes too far in any way.
Zoya is like mentally sighing, and she says, "You know, I think our interactions are pretty positive. He does make some very questionable decisions, but I will do my best. You know, within reason, of course."
Okay, that's all I needed to know. That's all I needed to hear. You, when I saw you, you look really serious. So I have faith in you. Okay. Don't tell him I called because he will only get annoyed. I'm a bit too much of a helicopter parent. I'm aware. Just have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
And she hangs up.
And Zoya thinks to herself, like, well, it's a good thing that this shit is not within reason. Like she said, she would help out within reason, and none of this stuff seems to be within that reason. So, I mean, she didn't lie, but that was a nice out, I think.
Gotcha. So that's about when they're done with the training, and the hair comes back. I've updated his picture photo for you so that it looks a bit more, And he says, well, if you have any more questions for me.
Oh, I do.
I will tell you everything that you need to know for any questions you have for this case. But because of my boss, there are some things that I can't say unless I'm leveraging information. So give me intel on how the case is going, and I will answer more diverse questions in exchange. Does that seem fair?
That's very reasonable. I just wanted to kind of clear up a couple things just so that we are on the same page. You know how we came and then to the museum and we were the first ones there before any other agents, and you mentioned promotion, yes?
Yes.
Is that dependent on us staying on the case?
Well,
because and hear me out here. The way I understood it and the way you presented it is that our arrival was, and you know, us asking those questions, whatever, was what gave us the promotion. Otherwise, it kind of feels like cheating on your behalf, and that's kind of mean.
I understand. It's a lot. You know, I've talked to a lot of humans throughout my lives, and it's always jarring to learn about everything that exists in the world when people realize that it's not just people. Your promotions are not you're good. You can keep them. It's completely fine. You will get you might get more benefits if you keep working for me. But if you're not on the case anymore, I am going to have to ask for the glasses back.
And Zoya kind of nods, and she actually just hands them back to him.
He takes them and he turns them in his hand, and he says, "Fascinating. You people just are always so full of surprises." And he hands them over to Ken, and he says, You're staying on the case, I assume.
Naturally.
Well, here you go. Okay, you can write. You can write that you have both the glasses and the cap, and the hair says, "Well, it has been lovely to meet you. I'm sorry that I have to do this. It's sort of standard protocol, um, because humans aren't supposed to know about those things and everything. So I have to tell you, Miss Sorokina, that if you speak a word of meeting me and things like this with other people who are not initiated, I will have to track you down and murder you for it. I won't appreciate it.
Oh, I understand. I was born in Soviet Union. This is how things work. We're good. We understand one another. The whole snitches get stitches, very applicable.
All right. Well, no, no, no bad feelings. And if you change your mind, Ken has a way of communicating with me through my card. So just and he'll keep me in touch, and he'll keep me posted for how the case progresses. All right, Ken, do you have any other questions concerning the case?
Just regarding Pythagoras, with these verses, I'd like to know what we're dealing with. What can he do?
Well, he has 3 verses he's supposed to be able to use. It took me a lot of stargazing before I understood all of them, but he has one called No Writing, which erases any documents that either he wrote or that are about him that he's aware of. So if you write a police report about him and he's aware of that that this police report exists, he can erase it. He has the power called the verse called Before, which can cause a deep depression in his victims and make it harder for them to do anything. And lastly, the verse called Senseless Thing, which he can cast it on someone and designate a subject, and whenever he talks with other people about that subject, everybody seems to agree with him, even if to the victim of the verse. He must have others because he had other lives, and because we can learn the verses of other archons like us, other creatures like us. But those are the 3 that I know he has to have, at the very least. And he can heal, like you can. And he also has those powers of prediction, which aren't verses. They aren't powers that are accessible to a lot of us, which is why I'm fascinated with him, and one of the many reasons I would like to meet him.
These powers of prediction, do they rely on dark karma?
I'm not sure. That is something I'm not very well versed in. I have never met any other archon who had powers like these in the past.
Why was he after a book written by a quack doctor?
I don't know if he was after the book.
Then what was he after?
That is something you'll have to find in order to lure him into a trap and capture him. But I know it's going to be difficult because you are, after all, trying to catch a person who can tell the future. But I don't know his motives more than you.
Any advice going forward?
Don't get murdered. Or if you do, make sure I can get the items I gave you back.
All right. Sounds solid.
All right. Have a nice day, and I look forward to our next meeting so you can fascinate me some more. and he twirls his cane, and he starts to walk deeper into the necropolis, not towards the exit you came in through.
Okay. So I guess I'll just follow Zoya out. How are you feeling?
Fine, never better. I'm a little more concerned with you. You know, given the fact that there was some weird magic and it looked like cockroaches spilled into your mouth and then some other stuff. Are you feeling okay?
Honestly, I feel great. I just kind of light up a cigarette, take a long drag. It's like, I was going to quit these for health reasons, but I guess there's no point anymore.
Yeah, still it kind of smells, no offense. But, I just want to say, just be careful. Don't do anything weird with whatever you can do now. But yeah, I don't like to make decisions for other people. Well, no, I sort of do. But that said, just take it easy. And you can tell that she is worried for him.
I think you're taking this a little too easy.
No,
A killer on the loose who can predict the future.
I'm sorry, we also have a lot of weird heebie-jeebie things and deals with strange entities. No, personally, I don't really want to be involved. That's a little too strange for me. Normal murder, perfect. This, no.
Well, the law is the law. It has to be applied universally, even if we're dealing with otherworldly beings.
Oh, yes, but it seems like our new friend, probably doesn't quite follow the same laws we do. That said, he's polite, so kudos to him for that.
So I just take a long drag of my cigarettes, so, what do you think we should do now?
Okay, here is the thing. I don't know what you want to do now, but I am planning to fly back home. Tell the big boss that I'd rather handle another case and go on a family vacation. Haven't had one of those for a while.
Do you think it'll actually be that easy?
Yeah, might not be, but I am a pretty good talker.
You have otherworldly entities, some of whom can predict the future, and have proven that they are willing to kill. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't bet on walking away from this.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe those otherworldly entities who can predict the future can see ahead that I would like to spend mine on a beach with my family and am happy to leave them well enough alone.
I think we should follow this up.
You are very welcome to that.
After all your assistance to get here, you're just going to leave?
Yes, that is essentially the plan.
Well, I wish you luck.
Thank you, and you too. I think that, well, I hope that things will go well. And she kind of sticks her hand out to shake.
I do it as well. Give a little squeeze on the back of the thumb while we're shaking.
Mm-hmm. And Zoya kind of sighs and she says, but I guess if you get into trouble, just throw me a heads up or something. Or, maybe an update to say, hey Zoya, I am still alive. And they'll be like, oh, good job. And I will maybe put smiley face emoji. My kids really like those.
Don't worry, I could look after myself. You don't have to be my mother.
Oh, no, I know. That's why you have an actual mother. I'm just saying.
Rich.
Okay, so Ken, do you have any plans on staying in Greece some more and do some more stuff here, or do you also want to head back to New York?
I want to find Pythagoras. So I'm thinking I'll go back to the museum and ask them more questions.
Okay. All right, so you head back to the museum. You find Evatnezabat, and she is she's closing up like this part of the back of the museum. The lights are getting turned off. You only got through to this part because of the because of your badge, and she turns to you and says, "Oh, you're back."
Yeah, just had a few more questions for you, if you don't mind. Do you have time to talk?
Yes, of course.
Okay, just regarding what was unearthed, the Pythagoras tablet. I just wanted to know what information it pertained to, if there was anything in there about making predictions, what the means were.
It was related to, it was talking about a way to predict events with mathematics. I think it might have been a sort of precursor of what we use to calculate cloud movements in the way with meteorology, or being able to use statistics to tell how likely an event is to happen. But we didn't get this far into the translation to know exactly how mathematics was applied and what type of events it was supposed to predict. It could have been any sort of events, but we just didn't get far enough in the translation.
So was it a probability-based algorithm?
We just know it was mathematics related. That's all.
Not a whole lot to go on.
Yes.
Is there any information about it that stands out as unusual to you?
The fact that it was writing about Pythagoras is something that stands out. He specifically expressed that he never wrote anything, and he had a tendency of not wanting things written about him. And he was sort of secretive for some reason, and all we know about him comes from writings of his students after the fact.
How many copies of this tablet were made when it was first brought to the museum?
We made pictures and different scans, but all of them have been corrupted in a similar way.
Okay. How about security footage? Do you have any that might have been caught by some of the cameras incidentally that you wouldn't have been saving specifically?
She already showed you that there was like the bars on the screen that go down when there's like a glitch sometimes. There was one of these hiding the tablet the entire time it was transported through the different parts of the museum.
Any CCTV or anything from outside the museum that might have picked it up?
No, we unloaded it from the truck directly onto the museum, so no.
Okay. All right. Well, you've been very helpful. Thank you for the information.
I'm sorry I couldn't have helped more with that. Do you are you trying to see if there's any flaw in the verse that was used to erase to erase the tablet?
Yeah, I figured if he could only erase things that he knew existed, if there was any gaps, something that caught it incidentally that he wasn't aware of, that you might be able to salvage it from that. So, if someone happened to bring it by a CCTV camera that caught it incidentally and no one was aware that that existed. That there might be a record of it saved.
Yeah, but unfortunately, no. So, what is your character going to do after that?
I don't know. I think I'll just return to the hotel for the night and just kind of test out what's changed with my body. So I'll go up to the hotel and order a nice steak dinner and use the steak knife to just cut my hand and test out the whole healing ability. And just make sure this is real.
Okay. So you can, when you heal, what does it look like?
I'm going to imagine that it kind of looks like flesh is sizzling and slowly closing together.
Okay. Like your blood is boiling it back into place?
Yeah, kind of like it's just kind of being seared shut and then it smooths itself over.
Okay,
and,
nice.
Resumes a normal texture of flesh.
Okay, nice. So yeah, you can. So here's the thing: the healing doesn't work at first. When you hurt yourself, you've got to go through the healthy lifeline before you can heal yourself. And you need to have at least 1 point in injured before you can activate your powers, before you can activate the healing abilities, and then it heals 4 life points. So you have at the very least 1 point in healthy that is still checked after you're done with this, but those recover at a rate of 1 per hour. So like it will. So you're still hurting a bit. Because it can't heal you all of the way through the healthy lifeline for some reason, but it's only minor pains which will go away in a few hours.
Okay. So I just kind of look at my hands like, that's pretty cool.
Okay. What is Zoya doing in the meantime?
Probably contacting either contacting Susan or booking her flight back, or both.
Okay.
Probably both at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do the call. She picks up. Okay, so this is Greece, which means since it's night for you, hold on, it's 7 hours earlier, or 8 in this case, which means, yeah, it's the afternoon for her. So she picks up the phone, and you hear her say, Agent Whitecross.
Okay, hold on. Question: what do I refer to her as? Like, are we on a first name basis, or does she what's her official title that someone would be like, hey?
You can call her Chief, but otherwise, but whether or not you're on a first name basis is up to you.
You know what? Zoya's gonna go for it. Everyone likes hearing their name. And she says, Susan, hello. Let's just say we had a bit of a situation. You can maybe talk a bit more to Ken about it, but I would like to be taken off the case.
What? Why?
It is not something I can personally tell you about, which is very annoying for me to do, because I would like to, fill you in on everything. But Please believe me when I say that Ken is the one that you should go to with any questions.
Wait, no, you're one of my best agents. I'm not taking you off this case just because. Wait, does this have to do with the promotion you've been given? Is someone okay? Is another agency interfering with this case?
I am not sure. I am honestly not sure. All I know is that things got a little too real for my liking in ways that I didn't expect. And I'm not the right person for this. Ken, however, is very on board.
He's part of your team, so if I take you off this case, are you telling me to take you off of the team and replace you with someone else for the investigation? Because you okay.
We can just do what is it called? Switcheroo with someone else.
Okay, what would it take for you to stay on this case?
There is literally nothing I can think of.
All right, fine. I get this. We must have interfered with someone who got you a nice promotion, so you'd leave it off alone. Fine, I'll get somebody else to do it.
Thank you, Susan, and I'm sorry for the trouble. I really wish I could explain it in my own words, but let's just say that might not end well for me.
All right, I hear what you're saying. Ken will be able to provide more information than this, though, right?
Yes.
We'll get you on another case when you come back. And she.
And I'm also putting in my my vacation weeks.
So this is a sigh, and a sort of resigned sigh, and she says, "Fine, but I want you to see one of the psychologists to evaluate your mental state in regards to danger and what this case might have done to you."
That sounds very reasonable.
Have a good day. And she hangs up without waiting for you to say anything.
Okay, clickety clack, and Zoya books her flight back, and that rhymed.
Okay. Ken, are you going to stay in? Are you going to stay in Athens some more?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find anything regarding Pythagoras.
Okay.
But I will see Zoya off to the airport, like a good partner should.
No.
All right. So you you two find yourself at the airport, and I'm going and you can have your conversation. It's just that at some point I'm going to interrupt it with something. I'll tell you when, and something is going to happen. So go ahead.
So you're going back home then?
She nods and she says, "Yeah, I think it's for the best. And Hawaii has these great little chocolates with macadamia nuts in them. You want me to bring you back any? They're really good."
I'm not a chocolate person.
Who isn't a chocolate person? Oh my god.
Are you going to leave the bureau?
No. I'm just probably going to get transferred to another case.
What did you tell the chief about your reasons?
Essentially, I told her that I couldn't explain anything.
I'm surprised she went for that.
Yeah, well, she will probably be asking you some things, so maybe I don't know, use the same excuse. Can't talk. Oh, danger. You know.
I guess I'll show her my hand. I cut myself last night. The wound is completely healed.
You know, if you want to freak her out, that totally works. But maybe don't say those things without kind of like showing anything, like without actually showing her, because she might think you are not in the best frame of mind and maybe send you to a shrink. So just be careful. Just be careful with that.
Just one thing. Did you meant to say you were going to show Susan your hand or Zoya your hand?
Zoya.
Okay, yeah, because we both misunderstood you there for a second. But I think Zoya was thinking that you were explaining you were going to show Susan that you could regenerate.
Yeah, and Zoya was like, maybe not.
No, I meant I showed her that, there are perks to what happened.
Okay. Sorry. And Zoya kind of nods and she says, that's very useful. If you ever say ride a bike and fall off and scrape your knee, you can fix yourself. It's very good. That makes me feel a little better that, if you get hurt, you might do whatever you did and fix it. Yes?
I still think you should reconsider, but I guess I can't stop you. Good luck, and, well...
So it's in that moment
goodbye.
it's in that moment that your characters notice there's there's a lot of attention going towards the TVs that in the airport on the outside, like there's that are showing the news, and and a lot of people seem like really interested in what's happening. At the behest of one of the customers, the person working in the shop that's selling these duty free raises the sound, and you hear that another billionaire has been murdered. Someone from Saudi Arabia who owns a lot of land with a bunch of oil, and the news name him Jamil Abdul bin Tilal, and they go on to say that all of his inheritors except one had been attending a wedding the day before, and there were a lot of plates, but all of specifically the plates that they ended up eating from had been poisoned, and so his son is the only inheritor of his fortune at the moment, and you and the police mention that pictures have that a person matching the description of the killer of Adrian Wakefield was seen at both of the scene of the crime for Jamil and his inheritors, and they are now calling him and they are now calling the killer the billionaire butcher, after having over the past few days gone through different names like the economy killer, the reaper of the rich, and the murderer of millions. But the media seems to be settling for the billionaire butcher. So your case has just turned international.
So I'll just look at Zoya. It's like, sure you want to walk away from this?
Oh, definitely. But it looks like it got a little more interesting, and I wish you luck with Triangle Guy. You know, cause the you get the joke.
Yes. Took 8th grade math.
Yes.
So, Zoya, you you board the plane and you head back towards New York. Ken, um, you don't have to turn off the phone, the phone that you have, and Susan tells you to get back to New York because you're needed here. In fact, you end up if you just go with those orders, you end up taking the next flight right after Zoya's. Or or if you need to stay and do some more research, you can. It's up to you.
Okay. I'm just going to ask about what's the situation in New York.
So Susan tells you. Susan tells you that some of Jamil's possessions, some of the things his son could inherit are in a vault in a bank in New York, and and since you are on the case and inheritance of the money and things like this seem to be an important part of the case, she wants you to check the vault, and she wants you to guard whatever is inside and make sure it gets to the right people, and see if you can that it gets to the inheritor, and see if it gets and see if you can like catch the killer through that.
Okay. All right. I will head back right away. It seems like Greece may have been a dead end anyway.
Okay. All right, you take the next flight. Zoya, when you turn your cell phone back on after having been in the in the air for a while, you have 10 different calls, missed calls. 8 are from Susan, but 2 are from your wife.
I call my wife.
Okay. She when you pick up when she picks up, she says, "Zoya, we have a problem."
No, what happened? Is it the plumbing again?
No, it's I'm getting calls from journalists who people want to they want they people are trying to find out why you left the case just before at such a crucial moment, and they somebody saw me packing the suitcases, and they I heard like I know the journalists, they are going to find out where our tickets are going to, and or they're going to follow us to the airport. We're not going to be able to catch a break during the vacation.
You know what? I will try and make a couple calls, and I'll see what I can do in terms of giving us some privacy. Otherwise, we could always, I don't know, put on glasses with the funny nose. She is making a joke though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not serious.
She says, all right. Just one thing. It's I'm concerned about exposing the kids to this if we do while we're on vacation. So I'm hoping this will work.
Same here. I will call in if if I can't be guaranteed that we will be left alone, we can discuss, what to do and where to go.
Right. What is your next phone call, to your boss or to your press contacts?
To my boss, and then to my press contacts.
All right. So when Susan picks up, she says, she says, listen, this. I've got the international community on my back right now because an entire family of people was just straight up poisoned by this guy, and you're my best. You're one of my best agents. So if I can't get you to stay on this case, it's going to be a lot of trouble for me. But if you're concerned about the security of your family or your security, I can arrange to have them protected and also to have you transferred to the archives.
Simon, what are the archives?
Oh, archive management, cold cases where they send people where they send agents who've lost their touch on being a good agent.
Oh, so is she saying she's going to demote me, or?
She's not presenting it like this, but it's on the table.
And Zoya's like, oh, that's strange. I thought, some big shot gave me promotion, but all right. I think that's hardly fair, given all the work I've put in the past. Is this because I am immigrant?
No, it's not. It's no. It's just we can't have other agencies giving you promotions to drop cases like this.
Okay. It wasn't a promotion to drop the case. It was apparently just a promotion because we were in the right place at the right time. I dropped the case because of something else.
I don't believe it.
Well, I'm telling the truth. What would make you believe me?
Okay, just come by the office. There's another thing. Okay, I will let you go. I will let you go without demoting you, but I just need you to do two things for this case first.
Okay, what are they?
Somebody. Okay, so I need you to go with Ken and take care of what is in Jamil's vault, and and then.
Did you talk to Ken yet?
There's just somebody. Somebody very influential. Some influential people have asked that you go to. Hold on, just give me 1 second. It's in. What state is this? Connecticut. So some influential people have asked that you go in to Connecticut. They want you to make a presentation on the case because it's just a few billionaires who are really worried that they might be next, and they want to be they want someone to keep them updated on the case, which means they want you to be they want someone who's on the case to be presenting this, and I don't have much leverage to say no to people like this. But it's I was going to give that job to somebody else, somebody who was less involved in the case than you were. But since you're leaving, it's can you just do that, and I'll get somebody else to take care of this for you?
But aren't I already off the case? So, I mean, how much benefit would I have to the billionaires?
You have been on the case since it began.
Mm-hmm. Can I do like Skype call with them?
No.
Can I send like?
Also, it's in the year 2000. I'm not sure Skype was already around. Listen, just those two things. You transport whatever is inside of the vault to the airport, and you go to Connecticut, make a presentation on the case, and then you're off.
Look, Susan, you tell me one thing one day, you tell me another thing another day. It just, I don't think it is in my best interest, and I'm trying to put this,
Okay.
as gently as I can without saying anything that might get me very big slap on wrist. If you know what I am implying, like very massive slap that the people do not get up from.
All right. I understand. I'll make a statement that you're. I'll put the information out that you're off the case. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're not involved with it anymore, and nobody outside of the agency will think that you still are. But I still need you to finish that work. This way you don't get a slap.
Well, okay. How about I talk to the billionaires?
Fine, Ken can take care of the vault. And
okay.
She and you hear her mumbling something about the archives, and then she hangs up.
Zoya kind of shrugs and she calls her contacts in the media.
Okay. Right, just one thing. Alright. I just got to get the books. They're all the way over there. Okay, so you have an influence of 8. So you can, okay. Influence of 8. Media. 8. Level 8 is burying an information in the international level of the international level. Okay. And relaying of false information instead would, in the national media, would be an influence of 8. So yeah, you could. So you don't need to indebt yourself to just make people forget where your involvement in all of this in the media. Okay. Is there anything else? Was that what you were trying to do? Is there anything else?
Basically, what she wanted to do was to get like the media to not focus on her, so that there would be journalists that would be bugging her family.
Okay. Yeah. With this much influence, you can do that. Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. You're told to wait for Ken, who also has to be part of the presentation, because he's still on the case. So we're just going to do a couple of scenes with Ken before we go to Connecticut. Ken, you go to the bank, you go to the vault, and when it opens, there's only a bunch of dust with a small circle, not bigger than a quarter, that is dustless in the center of the room, and there's a few feet of just dust that has not been touched between the vault door and the circle that is missing. That is the circle that is missing, where there is no dust, and the person who's opening the vault for you just looks inside and says, "That's weird. That person just paid. We were paid so much to keep this vault, and there was nothing in it. Oh, billionaires do weird things with their money."
You don't have any records of what may have been in the vault?
No, we are paid a lot of money to be for our confidentiality, but we do keep extensive records of through the cameras, and he points to the cameras that show show the entrance into the vault, and he tells you, "I'm not sure we could see what. I'm not sure we could see all of the room on the inside from this angle, but you might learn something about what was inside if you. But you'll have a lot of footage to go through. That
Well,
the last
surely
visit
they must
was.
have had an insurance policy on the contents of the vault.
Oh no! We don't get nothing gets stolen around here. Those this bank is one of the most secure in America. It's you really get top-notch people hiding, putting stuff in here. Nixon was one of our clients. He put some compromising documents here while during the whole Watergate scandal that no journalist was able to get to them.
I see you're all about that confidentiality. I just laugh at that. It's like, I see you're all about that confidentiality.
Oh, those. He jokes about it. He's joked about those documents, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind us making a little bit of promotion through that story. Anyways,
is it normal for your vaults to be this dusty? You don't have any kind of air filtration system?
We do, but we were told explicitly not to open it, and it must have broken down in the past 10 years.
Most dust is human skin, so this seems a tad excessive.
The clerk just shrugs and he starts to move to close the vault door, assuming you don't have he's sort of assuming that you won't want to have anything to do with this room. Do you?
No, I don't think I'm going to be dusting for fingerprints.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll just go watch the footage of the vault.
Okay. The footage. Okay. So it takes you a while, but I'm actually make a search roll with Libra to. I just want to see how long it's taking you to go through those files. Every search roll is half a day.
Got nothing in search.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, because it was 10 years ago, the cameras records tapes, which means you have to go through a lot of different tapes to find anything, and you don't find any and you don't find like what you're looking for on the first try. If you have points in documentation, you can roll that instead.
No, I don't have it in either. I have
Okay.
no points in Libra.
Then it's going to need you to roll a 12 to actually find something through here, which means it's unlikely your character is going to end up finding any information this way. But it's up to you how much time you want to spend on this.
I'll have one rolls every a day. I guess I'll spend 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I give up. I'm not suited for that sort of work.
Okay.
I need a partner again.
All right. So, yeah. So,
Can I turn it over to like analysts at the FBI?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Because like the presentation needs to be done pretty soon. We can say your character turns it over to the analyst, and the information will be given later instead of you taking so much time here. Let's see. Yeah, basically, all that the analysts are going to find is that the whatever was put is that Jamil paid for the vault, went inside. The vault was closed, came back out, and the place where there was a ring was not visible from the camera, but he did not seem to have it must have been rather small, because it didn't look like he had anything more or less on his person when he came out. Okay.
And when was the date of this?
That was 10 years ago. And the analysts are going to like go through as much footage and going really quickly through most of the footage, but they don't see anybody else going inside of the vault, and the bank records don't show that the vault wasn't open since. Okay, so your characters find yourselves again at the airport, or you can go to Connecticut through other means. It's up to your characters how you want to, how you prefer to travel.
Airport's fine.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna fucking bike there.
Hmm?
I'm gonna take a fucking bike.
Your character is so salty at still being involved in all of this.
Yes. No, fuck it. She's gonna snowshoe across the fucking highway all the way to Connecticut.
All right.
Time of year is I'm assuming it's summer, but...
Wait, Simon, wait. Is there a way for Zoya to accidentally miss her flight?
Technically, yes. Without getting fired. Without being sent to the archives.
I'm just thinking, like, maybe something happens, that the plane gets delayed. Oh shit. Trying to think.
So how about we roleplay Zoya mulling this over as both of you meet each other at the airport?
Simon, I have a great idea.
Okay. Oh my god.
I'm assuming she has a food allergy.
Okay.
Like, oops, didn't read the label. Anaphylactic shock. Like, Zoya, yeah, basically, like, she doesn't want to have anything to do with this case, to the point where she would consider rather ending up in the hospital. Like, you miss the meeting if they had to bring you into the ER and like give you epinephrine.
Okay, well,
So she's debating this.
okay, yeah. Okay. So if you haven't decided, that's okay. That's all good. Yeah. So you two meet at the in front of the airport, and yeah, uh, uh, what do your characters say? Um, does Ken have anything to share in regards to ideas concerning that weird vault?
Just be like, you look well. I thought you were off the case.
I thought so too, but Susan just wanted me to do last thing.
I checked out that vault.
You know what? That's very great. I don't really want to know about it, but I trust that you are doing awesome. High five. And she like sticks her hand up.
Oh, you really don't want to know? I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the porn these billionaires are into.
Oh no, I'm sure it's like very messed up. But are you gonna leave me hanging? I want high five.
I give her like a half-hearted high five. Still kind of pissed at her leaving the case.
She kind of grins and she says, so we are just supposed to talk to a bunch of people, assuage their worries, all that kind of stuff, yes?
Yeah, that's my understanding of the situation. Not sure why they're sending me, though. I'm not a people person.
You know what? You're charming in your own way.
Yeah, thanks. It's just a polite way of saying you're an asshole.
No, that's the polite way of saying you are not the most charming person, but when people get to know you, you're, very, very great guy.
Anything that comes before but can be safely ignored.
Oh my god. Oh, you know what? Let's drop this.
You're very good at that, aren't you?
The passengers for the flight to Connecticut number 7526 should embark now.
I'm good at dropping the things that need to be dropped.
I just gotta leave it at that. It's like, come on, we're gonna miss the flight. And I just kind of like take her hand and start pulling her.
And Zoe's like, hold on, I need to check to see if my passport is in. And she's like tugging her hand back.
It's a domestic flight, you don't need a passport.
I like to know to make sure that I have my stuff with me. Hold on.
Yeah, I could see through your stalling tactics, and I just kind of like pull her along with me going towards the checkpoint.
No, I'm serious. Let go of my hand.
You're not getting out of this.
No,
I have to handcuff you. You're coming with me.
Excuse me? And she just like yanks her hand back.
I'll stop in a little bit of shock. It's like, it's bad enough you abandoned me in Greece. You're not bailing out of this one.
I'm sorry, it's bad enough that you got into weird heebie-jeebies with our friend Mr. Pimp.
I believe it was your idea to go to Greece in the first place.
Yes, but there is a line that even I do not cross.
You're awfully quick to turn tail and run.
Yes, when the situation gets to the way it is now, I think and pardon me saying this, I think any person that has a bit of common sense and is friends with their own, faculties would decide, maybe this is not the best idea. And maybe this in the future will lead to something very bad. Let's say for me, for my family, for anyone that's involved.
Okay, I just interrupt her. It's like, okay, so yeah, I'm aware of the fact that we're in too deep, and Do you know what you do when you're in too deep? You code deeper and you hope you come out the other end.
No, you look up to where you have attached like rope ladder and you climb out. Or you dig your way back up.
You know you can't dig up.
Well, okay. Are we assuming we are in a hole or are we assuming we are like buried? Like what is the space that we are in?
I just kind of laughed at her argumentation. Like, quit stalling, come on.
She rolls her. Oh my god. Okay, I have to like separate my speaking voice from this accent that I'm trying to do.
Very good with that accent.
Just one thing. Is it likely that your character will be convinced to stop what she's doing right now when Ken says, quit stalling? Because after all, because of your background, I'm thinking your character might not really like stalling techniques.
Okay, here's a fun comment about Soviet people. We think all of our previous leaders are pretty much dicks, but they are our dicks. I mean, I do appreciate the pun. I'm just trying to figure out as a player, because part of me like wants to see where this goes, but I know that Zoya does not.
There's going to be a lot of stuff happening. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening at the meeting with the billionaires, which is why if you don't go to that thing, there isn't exactly going to be a lot for you to do while Ken is having this part of the adventure. And also the thing that I told you about the other group that could convince you to stay in the case is at that meeting. So if you don't go there, I like my options to keep you in the adventure are sort of limited.
Mm-hmm. And that, you know what? I am curious, now that I have meta knowledge that this other group will be there. I think this time Zoya will tag along, if not for Susan, then as a kind of last hurrah for Ken. But like, can I just say that other group better have a stellar offer?
It's not going to look like a stellar offer at first.
Well, God help them then.
So, all right. So you are. What is this place called? So you go to a town called New Haven in Connecticut, and you have been summoned to a building on the campus of Yale University. So your I just want to check both of your characters' domains to see if you would have any way of knowing. Zoya, you have. You do have politics. Zoya, you can roll for erudition to know something about this, about the place you're heading, and.
Which is under what?
Oh, it's under Pisces. First column towards the bottom. And Ken, you cannot. You don't have the necessary domain. I'm sorry, Zoya, you have 0 in that skill, so you're unlikely to have a success. By the way, your rolls, because you can only take the light dice roll. I know you roll 2 dice like Andrew now, but since you don't have the option of taking another dice than the light dice.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So you arrive at the building where you've been asked to come, and you see that all around you, it's currently it's the okay, so we're towards the beginning of the year 2000, so it's toward there's a bunch of students just walking about, and you go in front of a lot of like different fraternities and stuff like this, and you end up in this really nice looking building. Like it has a very old style, polished wood, very elaborate tapestries, and stuff like this. And there is a person waiting for you outside. The person waiting for you outside it's this person, and as you're arriving, he says, "Oh, you're finally here. Okay, thank you very much for coming. Before you go in there, I'm the person who got them to ask you to come here. Thank you for taking the time to do so. I have this case here," and like he shows you this case to which he is handcuffed, and he tells you, before you go in, if listen, I can't give this to you, but if I and then, like he is using a key to like undo the handcuff, the handcuffs, and he puts the suitcase on the table, but on the floor, and he says, "But if I tell you there is a piece of evidence in regards to the case that could help you inside of there, could you take it from me for less than 24 hours and give it back to me afterwards? Could that be arranged?"
I don't see any problem with that.
All right. He nudges the case towards you with his foot, and he says, "Just to be clear, I'm not giving it to you. You're taking it from me because it's a piece of evidence. Yes?"
Yes.
And also, just to be clear, I'm not the one taking it.
Well, too bad. Okay. Ken, you do you pick up the case?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up and handcuff it to myself just in case.
Okay. Right. So the man presents himself. He says, "I'm Joe Jasmine. Neither of you have the domains. Hold on, we'll check real quick. Zoya, Ken, you don't have the domains to know him, and Zoya, you do not either. And yeah, you step, and you're going to step in to this building. And just by the way, there's a bunch of security guards outside. Like this, there's about like just 10 of them, just in rows, in the row to the entrance, and you are they check you for weapons or things like this. They ask you to put your weapons in a case that will be given back to you when you come back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And when you get near the door, Joe Jasmine is there's a there's a woman there, and next to her is a sort of weird apparatus. It looks like oh yeah, it looks like a sort of like a big chest. Like that you can steal things into, but on the inside you see there's like two saw blades and the thing to operate it, and uh, uh, and an apparatus to take something, and behind a sort of like piece of glass, you can see let's see, 8. That there would be 6. Would be 5. Hold on, let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there would be 16 minus 3 minus and you see 11 chess pieces, all black, behind this glass. The ones that are missing are a pawn and two dots. Wait, no. There's even less than this. There's also there's 2 pawns missing, 2 knights and a bishop. Those are the ones that are missing right now. Sorry, my bad. I had to remember. Okay, and Joe Jasmine just says, "After you. I can't get it." And she opens the door for you, and you step inside, and the door closes back on Joe Jasmine, and you end up in a room that has very famous people. So very famous, very rich men who have in their who your characters could recognize. I think, Zoya, you have the domain politics, so hold on, just give me 1 second. You had politics and administration.
Mm-hmm.
So you recognize some of them as people who've influenced politics, and others just as some of the richest people in the world. Mm-hmm. And they're all doing different things. Some of them are playing chess to the side. One of them is 2 of them are sitting in front of the TV, and some of them are just having a nice chat. And when you step in, and they notice you as you're stepping in, but nobody comes in and talks to you. And the 3 that I showed you are the 3 sort of more important ones. There's others, but they're not going to necessarily come into play today. So, what do your characters do?
Zoya kind of looks at Ken and then kind of does a little shrug and coughs very loudly to try and catch attention.
Okay. I just kind of yield the floor to Zoya, since she's the more diplomatic of the 2.
So they, some of them turn their attention to you. Some of them just keep doing what they're doing and don't seem to mind you. On TV, there's on TV right now. There's it's on Fox News, and someone is going on a rant about the billionaire butcher and how he and on his and how people like this must be caught. And you hear two people talking about how one of them did a great job of getting the media to just bash this this aggressor. And yeah, apart from that, nobody's really talking, doing much. What do you do?
Zoya will pipe up and she says, "Where should we have the meeting? I was told that you wanted to speak with the person who was on the case."
So they sort of, they start to come towards you, and this one, you know him by name. He already he comes towards you and he says, "I'm sorry, we're sort of a boys' club. We're not used to having people coming who are not part of the club coming in here and giving presentations like these. But that's why it's taking them so long. Excuse our horrible manners. Welcome to the Lions Club."
The pleasure.
So, yes, we did want a presentation on the case, but we also had some thoughts and maybe even some suggestions from some of us as to how you could proceed from here on. And so, like he looks down, and in his hands are there's a file, and he starts flipping through it. And you recognize it's the FBI file on the case that he has in his hands, and he says, "Whenever you want, go ahead."
And Zoya looks at Ken and she's like, "Do you want to start since you are still on the case, or would you prefer me to, and then I can switch to you?" And like she says that so that they can hear.
Questions you might have about the ongoing investigation.
One of them raises his hand and says, "Yes, why haven't you fucking caught him already?"
Have you been following the news?
Yes.
You're aware of this butcher is insanely well trained with access to unknown resources. He's proven to be very elusive, and the top agencies of the world have had no luck tracking him down.
Do you at least have any theories as to how he's doing this?
We do, but that information is classified.
Oh, okay. It's this guy who's talking, and he says, "Oh, please, we could all of us in this room pay so much money in taxes to your government that if we ever mentioned your name and going into and taking our business to Europe in the same sentence, they would immediately fire you. Go ahead, you can spit it out. It's not like Barry doesn't already have the file on this." Barry just Barry nods and he says, I invented the database that the CIA uses. I do have access to some to a large amounts of information. So whatever theory you have, we'll know about it pretty soon. You might as well just tell us now.
Well, we can't rule out that one of you may be working in cahoots with the butcher. As I said, he has access to a lot of resources. So this information is to remain classified for your own benefit.
So he okay. Roll for willpower. It's in Leo, third column, all the way at the top. All right. So he tells you, "Please tell us," and there's a weird vibration in his voice. and you immediately speak the truth.
Okay.
It's a supernatural power that's just being used.
Yeah, I figured as much. But okay, I tell him that we believe that the killer is using some kind of ancient equation to predict events ahead of time. That's why he's so evasive. He knows our move before we do.
So just 1 second. I'm going to alternate between them. This Gillian Waits just turns to Barry Edison and he says, "See, I told you it wasn't the Fallen. It's got." And you start to hear them argue about who it could be, and Alan just tells you, we think that this murder isn't after billionaires, just billionaires, because he's already killed 2 members of our club. We think he's after specifically us.
And who are you exactly?
Barry tells you we call ourselves the Lions Club. That's all you need to know. We're just a group of influential people who work to make the economy prosper, shall we say.
You didn't seem surprised by my revelation. That seems pretty odd. Most people would think I was crazy.
Barry tells you, yes, well, it's a lot of we have to have our minds open in order to use our in order to be the best in our respective industries. And Alan just tells him, just fucking erase his memory. We don't want any complications with anybody thinking about these sorts of things. And Barry argues that no, you're going to need to know as much as you can to resolve this case. So, Zoya, this is more along your playground. What do you do?
I guess she says, before we agree on any memory wiping, should we maybe sit down, have a more in-depth discussion, and figure things out from that perspective?
Yes, go ahead. Tell us a bit more about this this case and how you reached this conclusion.
What conclusion? What Ken just said?
Yes.
Well, let's just say we went to Greece and we met someone who said a lot of things that didn't quite sound plausible, but it seems that you don't seem to be surprised, so...
They ask, so Barry asks you, who? And there's a weird vibration in his voice, and roll for willpower.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, that's under Leo?
Yeah. Third column all the way at the top. Oh, you got close. No, he.
What, with a 21?
Huh?
With a 21?
Yeah, because I rolled a 23.
Oh, I didn't see your roll. Okay.
Yeah. Like both our light and our darkness rolls were pretty close. In fact, we rolled the same thing. I just have 2 more points in that skill.
Ugh.
So he asks. So Barry asks you who, and you feel compelled to tell the truth.
The rabbit guy. Fluffy
What?
coat. Rabbit guy with fluffy coat.
Please specify what you know about this person.
The rabbit guy, fluffy coat. I think, did he have like a cane? And she looks at Ken to like confirm.
I just like nod.
Yes, guy called after rabbit with a coat. He has this like a cane thing. He does.
I just interrupt. Mr. Hare.
That one, rabbit guy. Yes. He did. You know, I don't even know what it is he did, but like weird things of the spooky variety.
What sort of things? What did he do specifically?
She kind of like. Well, here's the thing. Is she still compelled? Hmm? Oh, I was just gonna ask, is she still compelled? Because I think this is no longer who is this guy.
Oh yeah, sure. We can roll again.
Or is Ken gonna be jumping in?
No. I was just going to jump in with a demonstration and use my dark verse and be like, he did this, and just sap the room.
Okay. Oh, by the way, just a reminder: you both you can both now put points in clairvoyance, and you have 1 point in clairvoyance when you want to detect darkness karma. Oh, and when you activate the verse, you have to speak the sentence that is associated with the verse.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I have to look that up. 1 second.
Okay, take your time. In the meantime,
he let loose the cry of heroes. Okay, here it is. He let loose a cry of heroes. The phantom with the pale face answered him, terrified by awesome power of his cry.
You, Anna, you lose. Oh no, Anna didn't even have a point of. You sap the room of darkness karma, and you don't regain any points of darkness karma. But they. Okay, so out of all of them, one of them has got to have enough points in astrology to know this. One of them says, "Oh fuck, we got one of those fuckers involved in this case now too."
Okay, why not enlighten us? I asked for them to enlighten us.
Or enlighten Ken.
Yeah,
Are you just sitting there with your ears covered and your eyes closed?
Oh no, she's listening. She's just kind of like, no, I'm just here.
Barry, who's been the most helpful so far, tells you our club was created a long time ago with the purpose of killing people killing people who have the powers, the types of power you just demonstrated. But we have sort of evolved in our goals since our creation. It has been a long time since our club has been around. We just don't like their interference in cases like in moments like these. Anyways, what you're telling us is we've got an archon who is interested in meeting with a seer. Someone who can someone who can predict the future. Why would do you have any ideas as to why the seer is interested in killing us specifically?
I need to know more about you and your organization. It sounds like you're the type of people who would be his enemy naturally. From what I understand, he draws upon the same power as I do. Didn't you just declare him your enemy? I mean, you could hardly expect him not to bear some resentment.
Well, uh, like Barry turns to the others and says, "Our ancestors probably found a way to piss him off. That's got to be why. Either that, or it's the letter." And he turns back to you and he says, "We can give some commands, and some of us can give commands through writing. You wrote in your report that you found that the first letters of the letter you found at the crime scene had his name, and the name Pythagoras, right? We believe some of the words in that letter could have been commands, and that he's following them, specifically kill the rich, aimed at us."
Are all the rich part of your club?
No, we are just a select number. By the way, you've done quite well on your you've done quite well so far. Like doing sorry with your investigation. And so Gillian waits, takes out an envelope and hands it to you. And he says, "If you ever come across the killer again, this would be showing this to him would be a good way of protecting yourself from him. Don't open it until that moment comes, though."
Cryptic.
It's a one-time help.
Okay, so I just tuck it into my pocket and try not to think about it.
Okay. What is Zoya thinking during all of this?
She hopes it's gonna end soon.
All right. So, just give me 1 second because there was a lot I had to do during this scene. Yeah. They. Was there anything else that I needed to do in this scene? No, it's okay. All right. So, your what are your characters going to do now?
I guess I'll ask them some more questions regarding Pythagoras, particularly if they know any way to confound his seer ability.
So Barry tells you we don't know much about this, but we know that the seers form another organization like ours, similar in many ways. They are called the Sibyls Nostradamus. The famous Nostradamus took their names as a way of mocking them. Anyways, if you find them, you could discover, you could find out flaws or how his powers work specifically from them. The intelligence we've gathered points to Stonehenge as being a place where they used to meet. That's all. That's all the information that we're willing to give in that regard.
Thank you for that. This has been enlightening.
And it's in that moment that one of the bodyguards who was outside bursts inside of the room and says, "We have Mr. Edison, we have a breach of perimeter." And someone asks, "What does that mean?" And the bodyguard clarifies, the butcher has been seen. He's been spotted on the campus.
Oh, look at the time! We are gonna miss our flight back! It's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Okay, so Gillian Waits tells you do your job and protect us. And there's a weird vibration in his voice.
So we have to roll willpower, I take it?
Yeah.
I intend to protect them anyway, but
what am I rolling? Oh, Leo, okay.
Jeez. I rolled a 2 and a 1. Well, it's okay. Neither of you rolled higher than I did.
Ugh. Is there any way I can send a big mental fuck you to him?
It's not a communication in any way.
Okay.
And there would be if you had taken the case. Actually, no. Never mind. Didn't say. Yeah. So. So you Alan just yells, well, I'm out of here, and he starts to book it towards the outside, and you see him ordering his bodyguards to cover him, and he retrieves a piece from the weird chest before leaving. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm going to ask for my gun back.
Your gun is handed back to you. Also, there's like a bunch of bodyguards who were on campus, like converging back towards this building, and you realize that a lot of these people have their own assemblies of bodyguards who are like helping them make their way through the campus. But there's also other stuff going on. As you look outside, you realize that there is a protest that has started throughout the campus since you came in, and a lot of students are protesting the way the administration, like the closing of, like they're protesting the administration. You don't know more details from where you are, but yeah. There seems to be a lot of people outside, and all of the members of the Lions Club, they seem to be heading in different directions. What do you do?
I don't know. I guess since his name Barry's been the most helpful, I'll try to focus on protecting him.
What about Zoe?
She's probably going to stick to Ken.
Okay. So you start. You start heading. He takes a sharp turn and goes away from the direction in which the others are evacuating, and he tells you if he has ways of seeing the future, then he's foolish to attack us while there are so many, while we have these many bodyguards. He is not going to. He's not going to catch us to get any of us right now. That's for sure.
I'd say that I wouldn't underestimate him. It's a powerful ability, and who knows what contingencies he could have set up.
So, as you were exiting the building with Barry Edison, you saw that he recovered that he got a single piece from the weird chest, and the one that he took was a tower, and he's clutching it in his hand. And as you are moving, as the bodyguards are moving you through the crowd, I'm going to ask both of you to roll for vigilance under Sagittarius. First column towards the bottom. Okay, Andrew, you're going to see it coming. Yeah, both of you see it coming. There is a woman there's an old woman. She she has her face looks old, but she's dressed like a student, and she has a sign herself, and sh- uh, uh, and you see that she is observing your group as you're moving through the crowd, and she moves towards your group, and she whacks one of the bodyguards on the head, and she starts to reach for Barry. But since you rolled the vigilance on time, you are able to react before she can do before she finishes her movement. And Andrew, you had the highest score of vigilance. What do you do?
I'm gonna shoot her.
Okay. Go ahead and roll firearms. Oh, by the way, in a single turn, you can do multiple actions. So if you want, for example, you can you can do multiple actions. If you're doing a normal action like shooting, you can do multiple things like this. It's just that like for every action after the first, all of your rolls are at -3. Activating a verse is a normal action, but since there's no roll involved, you don't get a -3 on this thing, but you get a -3 on any other action you're doing this turn. So if you want to shoot someone, damage in a gun does 4 damage. You can shoot twice to get someone to injured or slash unconscious, or shoot someone 3 times to kill them. And you also have the primes and penalties for if you're aiming at vital spots to do extra damage, for example, or things like this. You're shooting to with what intent?
Excuse me. I think I'll try to make it non-lethal, so I'll just shoot twice, so because you can't interrogate a dead body, but I'm trying to stop her.
Okay. Non-lethal is you're shooting twice. Okay, so you can roll firearms twice at -3.
Okay, and are both rolls -3?
Yeah, both of them are at -3 because 2 actions, all rolls have the penalty.
Okay, I don't put the minus for the difficulty. It's just 3, right?
No. You do have to put the minus when it's a minus. You just don't put the plus when it's a positive.
Okay, I see.
Okay, you hit with the first bullet, and you hit with the second bullet. Which parts of the body did you hit her in?
I'll go for like both her legs.
Okay. She collapses to the floor. But you can see she was tugging at Barry's sleeve, specifically the sleeve in which he's clutching his piece. Zoya, you also rolled a higher vigilance, a high vigilance. Do you do anything?
Maybe like grab Barry and try to like get him out of danger.
Okay.
Dangerous old ladies.
Okay. Roll for strength to pull him out of her grip. It's under Taurus, middle column towards the top. And I'm giving you a +6 because the bodyguards are here to help.
+6, you said?
Yeah. So just write 6, not
okay.
+6. Okay. Yeah. You pull him you pull him back out of her grip, and you hear him, like, he's close enough to you that you hear him cursing, "Goddamn wolves," and he turns to her and says, "Stop anyone who's trying to follow me." And she gets up, wincing at the pain, and and she starts to block the way of anyone who is who could be moving in this direction. Despite the fact that her legs must hurt so bad right now. And you hear her, and she's yelling. She's yelling in pain throughout the whole thing. And Barry just continues towards the exit. What do you do?
I'm going to keep following Barry.
Okay. All right. So, and Ken, you keep following Barry, and there's this there's a moment when he stops. You're at the edge of where there are protesters, and he stumbles, and you notice there is a he doesn't stumble, but you see one of his bodyguards stumble and fall to the floor in front of him, and you can see there is a red what's it called? There's a sort of like flechette, a dart planted on his shoulder, and in the background you can you notice the blonde man, the killer, and he is walking towards you, throwing away his flechette gun and taking out his pistol. What do you do?
Shoot it. Shoot it dead.
Okay. This time I'm going to ask you to roll reflexes under Capricorn, third column towards the top, for your initiative. Both of you, actually. If Zoya also wants to intervene.
What are we rolling?
Reflexes under Capricorn, third column towards the top. Okay, so that's a critical failure. So you see, Pythagoras starting to aim his pistol, and he shoots, but because there's so many students and there's so many people, it's difficult for him to shoot. So just give me 1 second, because he's not trying to kill anybody other than that guy. Okay, he's at a penalty. Yeah, he still hits Barry in the shoulder, but only once, and it doesn't kill him. It's not a shot between the eyes, like the previous ones you've seen him pull off. Let's see, reflexes. Ken, you're next on the initiative. What do you do?
I'm going to just kind of move in front of Barry to act as a shield, and then open fire at Pythagoras.
Okay. How many times do you shoot?
I'll go for twice this time again too, so I'll take the
-3. He dodges both of your bullets. Like, basically, dodging in this game isn't about dodging when you're being shot at. It's about, like, ducking behind cover before somebody starts shooting. But basically, like, he's never where you're aiming. Like, when you start to adjust your aim, he's never in that. He's already moved in a weird way. And the other bodyguards are taking out are starting to take out his to take out their weapons to shoot him. But Zoya, you can act before. What do you do?
Can I talk to him?
Yes.
Okay. I guess like she has her gun out just because that's what police do. And she says, "Hello, can we maybe? There's a lot of students around. You could maybe hurt someone."
And like he's ducked on the side of a university building at this point, and like he's somewhat out of sight, but he tells you, don't worry, I can predict things well enough that I won't shoot any of them. Also, the students behind you are yelling, and because there's like a shooting, everybody is running in every directions, and there's a lot of confusion happening around you. Yeah. Do you take any other actions this turn?
She asks, "Okay, what is your end game here?"
Um,
She's basically trying to negotiate.
he, yeah, uh, you hear him yelling, "End this, this horrible corruption on our society."
You can never end corruption.
He comes out from behind his wall, and before anybody can shoot him, Barry yells, "Put your gun down!" And there's a weird vibration in his voice, but Pythagoras just smiles and you notice he has earbuds playing very loud music. He's got a Walkman playing very loud music in his ears, and he raises his gun. Ken. Okay. The bodyguards shoot him, and he's going to have to take his turn to heal of those wounds. But you see the wounds closing on Pythagoras. Ken, what do you do?
I think it's a good time for me to open that envelope.
Okay. You open the envelope, and it's just 2 words: Pythagoras, flee.
Okay, so I just hold it up so he sees
Okay.
it.
You watch his face grow from extremely confident to enraged, but he starts to turn around and run.
Can I shoot him in the back?
Yes, you can shoot him in the back. Go ahead and make 2 rolls for this, or just as many rolls as you want, actually. Dodging and dodging at. How many rolls are you doing?
2.
Okay. The second roll I do at a penalty.
Oh wait, is the first roll supposed to be without the -3?
No, but for dodging, the more times you get attacked, the bigger the penalty is. Okay. You don't manage to, like, he's extremely good at dodging. You've never seen anyone who was this good at dodging. But basically, he runs out of there. The bodyguard, the amount of damage that the bodyguards are able to do heals he heals fast enough to just keep going. And he turns around the corner, and like the bodyguards are taking Barry away, and Barry is yelling, "No, we can get him. We don't have to flee from here." What do you do?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm tempted to go after him myself, but I think it's like now he seems more vulnerable than he would have been otherwise. So, but I want to get Barry to a safer spot before before pursuing him.
All right. Zoya, it's your turn. You are the team leader. Important, difficult decisions like protect Barry or go after Pythagoras are your bread and butter. It's what you were trained to do. You're a naturally born leader. What does your character do?
Just to be a little spiteful, she's gonna protect Barry.
Okay.
Because fuck what Barry wants.
Also, you've been given the order to protect those people.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's been more than a minute, so you now, so you're not under the influence of that. But your character doesn't necessarily notice when the tyranny's when the tyranny stops.
Mm-hmm.
Ken, your leader is protecting Barry Edison. What do you do?
I think I'm going to go after Pythagoras.
Okay. All right. You start to run after him, and he he heads into a street. He heads like out, towards the outside of the campus, and he's doing this the weird thing that he was doing the last time you chased him, where there's this constantly stuff getting in the way of your vision now. It's just by coincidence, but if you roll a 12 on athleticism, you might still be able to catch up to him. So
okay, I don't see that happening. I have nothing athleticism, but let's see.
The reason I gave you points in experience points so that you could adjust whatever you needed. Oh, you got close with your darkness dice.
Yeah, close but no cigar. So yeah, once I figure I lost sight of him, I'm just going to go back to Barry and see what's going on.
Barry is to the side, and he says, "I'm still alive." That means he's not as good at predicting things as he. That means his predictions aren't perfect, and you see him calling the others and telling them where he is, and telling them and he's saying to the others, if we don't flee, if we give chase, we could get him now. And you hear him say, James, get your helicopter and just go go towards the north. That's where he went. And you hear arguing over their line. So he's doing this. Zoya, you're pushing him away from the direction Pythagoras went in.
Mm-hmm.
What are your characters going to do now that there's things are cooling down in terms of like shouting from the students? There's a lot less of them around. Nobody was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Well, Barry was hurt. Barry's been shot. He's bleeding.
Calling an ambulance.
Okay.
I asked Zoya if she remembers her medical training.
Hold on, does she? One sec.
That's under cancer, third column towards the bottom. But I don't think anybody put points in that.
Zoya kind of shakes her head.
So I just go, yeah, me neither.
Actually, before calling the ambulance, she turns to Barry and she says, do you have weird heebie-jeebies to help you with that, or do you want me to, call the
ambulance? No. We concentrate on mind powers, but yes, please call an ambulance. They can take me away once we've gotten him.
So, do you want me to tell them to, like, wait a little bit? Because I'm pretty sure they're gonna come rushing in. And you are bleeding, so that kind of looks rough.
Go ahead and roll for persuasion. Okay. He gives in. He says fine, and he stops his attempt at giving chase.
Okay.
What are your characters going to do?
Calling the ambulance.
Ken.
Well, I'm gonna get us to like some kind of secure area where I'm sure there's only one entrance, and make sure he stays safe, because we don't know what someone who can predict the future is capable of.
All right. You bring him to safety, and as you're doing this, Barry is telling you. Sorry. No, he's not going to say anything. But your characters are now in this. We're gonna say you get him to a inside of a bathroom, basically. Only one entrance, and no windows. Okay. What do you do? What do you do after that?
Well, I'm just gonna stand by the door with my gun ready, just in case. And, maybe just because this was a bit of a stressful situation, I take out a cigarette and start puffing on it.
Okay. What about Zoya?
Is there a downwind area from the cigarette smoke?
I notice she's feeling uncomfortable. I deliberately blow more smoke in her direction.
Oh my god, you're ruining our chances of keeping this team together.
She just narrows her eyes and she just pulls out her phone. She'll be calling Susan.
Okay. All right. You're typing your number when you hear this explosion coming from somewhere above your heads, but you don't have any windows because of where you went, so you don't see what's happening. You do hear the sound of metallic things falling on the roof above you and on the ground floor around you. What do you do?
I will get Barry to the point just below the door, just in case something collapses. That should be sturdier. They say to go there during the earthquakes.
From the door into the hallway, you can see there's a window, and you can see the carcass of a helicopter that just crashes in the gardens of Yale University.
The mouth just goes wide a little bit. Cigarette falls onto the floor. Shit. So much for the search team.
I guess he got one of us anyways. Fuck.
Wait, hold on. Isn't he locked in the bathroom? Are we outside the bathroom or inside?
You're at the door at the edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your characters going to do now?
Crouch down and keep protecting Barry.
Long minutes pass. And finally, in the distance, you can hear the wailing of an incoming an incoming siren. Your ambulance is here.
Fucking finally.
Honestly, given what this guy's capable of, I'm not entirely sure I trust the ambulance.
We can go on the ambulance with him.
I suppose that's true.
I mean, otherwise he can bleed out.
Barry says much good that did to the congresswoman.
Well, you know.
Do you have any healthcare professionals on your payroll? Someone you can trust?
I do, but all right, you're the one who know a bit more about those kinds of powers. What he used to heal. Can he do that at will?
No, you've got a limited pool. You can only use it so many times before you run out. But he's much stronger than what I am.
I understand, but that means. But we did shoot him a lot. If he's going to have to take a huge risk if he comes after one of us again, and there's all of the others who are scurrying in other directions. If he wants to go after the ambulance, my bodyguards will take care of him. And he starts to go towards the exit. Well, his bodyguards start to go towards the exit, and he follows suit. So the ambulance takes him to the hospital, and once he's there, and they start. Well, actually, not the hospital. He can pay for a private clinic, and with a few phone calls, he's got a whole battalion of police officers to protect him. Once he has this, though, he turns to you and he says, "We now confirm that he's trying to get the members of our club. I want you to keep investigating this and keep us posted." Zoya. And he says, "We're very influential people. We can get you what you will be handsomely rewarded if you get him." Now, Anna, we talked a bit about what would convince your character to stay in the game during the break. Have you come to a decision as to something that could motivate you to stay? Do you want to go with the option that we suggested? That I suggested, or something else?
Maybe if she speaks to or bargains with Barry. I want to see how this conversation will play out with them.
Okay. Yeah. So he's just offered you. He's just said you will be handsomely rewarded for this. So what do you do?
You know, a lot of people say that, and not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust a lot of people. So, and also the situation that we are talking about with, these spooky, scary things, that's a line I do not like crossing. Even at sleepovers as a little girl, I never did any of those, summon ghosts in the mirror. It's not my thing.
You don't want us to use our powers to convince you.
Well, how useful would that be for you?
Well, it is really useful to be able to get people to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see, if you can catch him, I can avoid using that power on you while you're tracking him down, if that's what you want.
So, I noticed you all had these weird little chess pieces. Does everyone have one in your cat club?
Yes.
Okay, little strange. What do they do?
They show that we belong in the club.
Okay, so is this not this weird, this one fairy tale? Do you know about Cachet the Deathless? How he has his soul in an egg and a duck? It's not like...
No, we can we it doesn't kill us to be separated from our pieces.
What if piece was destroyed?
What do you mean?
No, like if something happens to the piece, are you like,
Nothing can happen to the piece.
I'm not saying if anything can happen. I'm saying if anything does happen. See, two different situations.
If if it is taken from us, we don't belong in the club anymore. But after all, if we let someone get their hands on something that belongs to us that is so important, we don't deserve to be. It's that's why there are people who try to take our pieces from us. We call them wolves.
So how did the doctor acquire one?
Well, that's a bit more complicated. That's I'm going to tell you something that only wolves and members of the club know. The When one of us dies, our piece disappears from our possession and is transported to another person worthy of it. And Adrian got his piece because he was worthy and because he was about to make billions of dollars. Well, with a few advice from us, we told him that if he that his book wouldn't be dramatic enough unless if he made it obvious that someone was trying to hide the truth from him. We recommended either getting an assassin to fake attacking him or to shoot his editor. Obviously, when he died, we didn't react at first because we thought he'd fucked it all up. But when Jamil followed suit, we realized that it was actually an attack on us.
And the congresswoman?
She. That's what's weird. We figured the only reason he'd kill her is if he was following that stupid letter. The ideology that's inside of it of killing the rich, which it makes sense if it was orders given to him by someone with a piece who could write those orders. The thing is, nobody on our side wrote those orders to him, which means there's someone with a piece from the other side who's probably behind all of this, on top of every other faction who's involved in this fucking mess.
Am I to assume that your pieces are indicators of your rank?
Yes.
So what's Barry's piece? Did we see him pick it up?
Hmm?
Barry's piece.
You saw him pick up a tower.
Okay. I think the rooks were relatively low rank, if I'm remembering correctly.
So he says, "I'm giving you this information because because on the one hand, we think the Sears are involved in this, but on the other hand, since those orders were written to him by the other side, we call them the Fallen, because we are on our way to fully defeating them. Anyways, since they contributed, I thought you knowing a bit more about this, the inner workings of all of this, would help you figure this case out."
And what's their deal? Like, you and your club are all like, yay, money. What are the other guys standing for? I'm just curious. This is all very new.
We tend to think that only the fittest survive, which is why we allow progression for our ranks. So if somebody doesn't deserve to keep their peace, they don't deserve to keep their rank. The fallen, on the other hand, have a philosophy of cooperation. That's why they were with the communists during the Cold War. They
Cooperation and communism. No, sorry, continue.
things got out of hand with their philosophy, anyways. But they try to adhere to that philosophy, and they punish anyone who tries to take a piece from them, instead of letting the law of the jungle do its thing. By the way, that suitcase you've got, he points to the suitcase attached to Ken's hand. What's in there?
Evidence.
Evidence?
Yes, evidence.
Did tell me, did that coward Joe give this to you, or did you take it from him?
I play coy. I am not at liberty to discuss my sources.
I understand. If you want an edge to catch this killer, and you want to help me rid my club of cowards, don't give it back to him.
I'll take that under advisement.
He doesn't deserve it. And you see that there's a nurse who's been trying to come in and tell you to go out for a couple of times during the conversation, and he's always done this thing with his voice where he told her to go away, but now he's letting her shoo you out of the room to let him recover.
Mm-hmm.
What are your characters going to do now?
I'm going to go back to the hotel room and examine what is actually in this case.
I'm going to need you to roll intrusion to get inside, and it's going to be a roll at -3 because that lock is intricate. Scorpio is all the way towards the bottom, in the middle column. Okay. You crack it open. The case opens, and you've had it on your arm all day, and it felt when you were moving around that there was a set of Jenga inside, because it's like all this wood clanking. But when you open it, there's a bunch of pieces of chess, all of them black, but of all kinds.
What are the materials?
It looks like they're made out of wood.
Do they look similar to the pieces we saw in the Lions Club?
Yes. In fact, based on how little you've seen of those, you couldn't tell if those were the same kind or not. But they look very similar. What do you, Zoya?
Mm-hmm.
Are you also at the hotel?
I'd say yeah.
What is your character going to do?
Probably gonna call Susan.
Okay.
I'm gonna line up. Like, do I have a full board? Are there any pieces missing?
There's a bunch. There's the equivalent of the pieces for 5 different boards in there, and exactly 5 different boards. Susan picks up, and she says, "Hello."
Ah, yes. Did you hear the news? Is it on the news yet?
Yeah. Helicopter crashed on Yale campus, Yale University campus. You do not make the. like you seem to have the headlines following you. I'm sorry that I only asked you for a small favor and it turned into this.
No, that's okay. I mean, I was assuming it was going to turn into some kind of big clusterfuck, so you're welcome.
Okay. Listen, now with everything that's happened, I and as an apology, you can go ahead, take your weeks off. You can go on vacation.
Okay, I'll wrap up here and yeah, thank you.
Just tell Ken that I'm still going to need you and Ken to write a report on everything that happened before that.
Okay.
And is Ken okay?
Yeah, he's fine. We weren't the ones who got shot, so.
The news talk of only one casualty. It's incredible that with the helicopter crashing, the 2 bodyguards and the pilot managed to get out of there alive.
Yeah. That's you know, the whole killing people not so great, but avoiding casualties, kudos.
I mean, he did have a bomb strapped to that helicopter, so I don't think that I think he got lucky that he didn't kill anyone.
Oh, well.
Except that billionaire.
Okay, kudos withdrawn in that case.
She tells you also I want to report on how nice Hawaii is. A vacation with this clusterfuck vacation in Hawaii is starting to sound really good.
Oh yeah,
see you.
Wait, should I bring back chocolates?
Sure.
Okay, I will.
She hangs up. What are you two going to do now?
I'm going to examine all the pieces because I feel like one of them is like the real McCoy and the rest are decoys. So I'm going to take out my lighter, I'm going to hold them up, and I'm going to just go through them one at a time. And if one starts to singe, I'm just going to move it aside and see if there are any that have special properties.
Okay. One of them a pawn does not catch fire. Does not singe. It's a completely black piece, and it doesn't. Unlike the other ones, it's as light as wood is, but it doesn't. But when you bang it against other things, it doesn't sound like it's made out of wood.
I think this is something worth contacting Mr. Hare about.
Okay. You give him a call, and he answers. Do you tell Zoya that you're calling? Are you in a different room when you're calling?
I think Zoya would have wanted to come and check on Ken.
Okay, so I presumably tell her who I'm calling.
Okay.
I think it's time to get in touch with Mr. Hare.
Okay. Do you want to put him on speaker?
Sure.
All right. He answers and he says, "Hello, my darling. Are you linked to this mess in Yale?"
You could say that. I've got a question for you if you're in the mood to give me a straight answer.
Of course. If you've got any new information to bring to the case, then I would love to answer a question.
Just want to know if you knew anything about these black chess pieces.
Yes, I do know something about them. Are they involved?
Well, I've got one.
Have you... Can you confirm that it works?
How would I do that?
You'd need to try using it on someone.
I immediately glance over towards Zoya.
It's you might not, but they have different powers. Not all of which you might have. There's the let's see if I can remember. There's the word of command to give an order, the word of truth to command the truth after someone, the word of forgetfulness to make someone forget, the word of illusion to convince someone that your words are true, no matter how weird, and the word of sleep, and the word of death.
So what's the pawn do?
They're unconnected. Anyone can, you could have any of them. I don't know. I have no idea how the words are learned, though. So, but I would be really interested in borrowing it.
When would you like to meet?
Where are you? I'm taking a plane.
We're in Connecticut.
Oh yeah, you're at Yale, as I thought. All right. Well, I'll give you a call when I'm in town. And he hangs up.
I hold the pawn piece in my hand and I look over at Zoya and just kind of concentrate intently, and then I go, abracadabra. Nope, not the word.
Zoya kind of rolls her eyes and she says, so I'm guessing you're going to be waiting here for your friend?
I'm guessing by how you worded that statement, you're not going to be sticking around.
I'm leaning towards no. I mean, part of me just doesn't want to abandon your stupid ass, but not that you're stupid, but your ass is. I don't know, Kim.
I don't think you can just hide from this.
Oh, you'd be surprised how good I am at hiding. I was always hide-and-seek championess, little girl.
Yeah, you can't hide from fate.
If you believe in fate.
Pulling you back in, I'm starting to think that you can't escape.
Or maybe you're trapping yourself in the prison of your own mind.
Do you think it's a good idea to go home to your family and leave these issues unresolved? Do you think it'll be that easy?
I mean, yes and no.
Persuasion for this?
Not on other players, unfortunately. This the problem with this in this game is that there's other there are wait actually depends. How do you phrase it?
I'm gonna try to basically persuade her that it's in her family's best interest that she doesn't leave loose ends.
Tell me precisely what your character says.
Okay. Do you really think this isn't going to come back on you? That you're going to be able to walk away so easily? Do you think this won't come back to bite you in the end?
With that,
your family.
There's no certainty.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. With that phrasing, unfortunately, the role can't be made. There are other games in which it's possible to use social skills on each other like the ones that have the Apocalypse World system, where a player can have a penalty if they don't follow a successful persuasion roll, or an experience bonus if they do, but they still have the choice to do that. In this game, I like it's since it's much more cut and dry, and I want the players to be able to keep their the control over their character. Persuasion has to go through role play, but you hear a knock at the door.
So I'll walk up to it, and is there like one of those spyglass things on it?
There are. It's this person. Sorry, it's Joe Jasmine.
Okay. So are you on ground level, and is there a back door?
You're on the first floor.
Okay, so I just
Wait.
gonna...
First floor. Is it ground level? Oh, you're one floor above the ground.
Okay, I'm just gonna go towards the window.
Okay.
I don't feel like giving back his chess piece.
Okay.
Zoya's like,
That will be an athletics check to climb.
How much damage do I take from falling?
You haven't healed today yet, so that's no, wait. Oh, you tried to use your karma point when you tried to. Okay, but at this point the sun is set. The sun is starting to set. You've regained your point. Just let me look real quick at damage, at falling damage.
because Zoya's saying, Ken, what the fuck? Who's at the door?
Joe. JJ.
Who?
Joe Jasmine.
Oh, briefcase guy? Why are you going out the window? What does he have, like... Well, I mean, if he had a gun, I would assume you would pull yours out.
I've decided to keep it.
Okay,
It's 5 points of damage because you'd be falling on concrete from the first floor.
I guess I'll at least attempt to climb down.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Should I have to put something into athleticism?
No, you crash to the floor below, and like you Anna, you hear a sinister snap coming from his leg, and when you look down, his leg is all bent out of shape. But a few seconds afterwards, it reshapes itself perfectly, almost perfectly.
Ken, what the fuck? She's yelling.
I just keep walking and go towards the parking lot and get in the car and drive away.
Okay. The banging on the door gets louder.
Zoya sighs and she goes to open the door.
Joe Jasmine is there, and he says, "Yes, I found your address by asking a few of my contacts. Do you think would it be possible for me to get my suitcase back now, please?"
Here's the thing. I never picked it up, and the guy who did jumped out window.
And he looks behind you, and he can see that the case is open, and that there's a bunch of chess pieces sprawled all over the table. And he says, "Get out of my way." And there's a pause, and you don't feel compelled to do anything. And he repeats it, and there's no weird vibration in his voice.
Zoya rolls her eyes, and she's like, "He took your thing."
But I didn't. God damn it! And he's going to try to get into the room to get to the chess pieces on the board. Do you? He's going to try to push you aside. Do you let him through?
If he's gonna push me, I'm gonna trip him.
Okay. Roll for brawl under Aries. First column towards the top.
Ugh. No training in brawl.
No, you rolled a 1. Yeah.
Trip
Yeah,
myself.
You collapse as he pushes you to the side, and you see him like looking through the chess pieces, and he calls his like he calls his bodyguard in, and like you see like this big woman in a suit coming in, and she has a suitcase of her own, and he tells her, "All right, we got to check all of them." She opens the suitcase, and inside of it there is what looks to be a miniature flamethrower, and she sets the whole table with all of the chess pieces on fire. And after a few seconds, when all of them seem to be on fire, Joe turns to you and says, "Where did he go?"
I don't know, drove off.
Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to be a part of this story, we are currently looking for more players and game masters to play new games in this setting and on this channel. You can also be a part of the story by having your face added to the cast of characters. I draw all of the images for this game, and you can commission me to make you into an NPC. If you like the style and you want a drawing like that of yourself, or if you want to contribute to the project, you can contact me through the links in the description. Finally, if you want to keep up with all of the adventures on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so you can get a notification each time we upload the next episode of this story. And it would be very nice of you to like and share the video to help this channel grow. Have a nice day, everyone.